Welcome to question 4 on the Year 11 Core Progress Test 1. Now question 4 is all about Pythagoras and trigonometry. Question 4a is a Pythagoras question. We need to work out the length of x and we need to give the answer to one decimal place. We are given two other values, 16 centimeters and 9 centimeters. We need to try and work out the hypotenuse, which is x. Pythagoras' theorem states that the sum of the two shorter sides squared equals the length of the hypotenuse squared. So in this case, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a equals 16 and b equals 9. So I'm going to substitute these values in. So 16 squared plus 9 squared equals our c squared. So 16 squared plus 9 squared equals 337. So we now know our hypotenuse squared, so x squared equals 337. To work out the value of x, we need to square root both sides. So x equals the square root of 337. So using our calculator, we need to do the square root of 337 equals. Now sometimes we may need to press the SD button to turn it into a decimal. Now I'd always write everything on my calculator display onto my paper. So x equals 18.35755.975 centimeters. Now the question has asked us to round this to one decimal place. So looking at the second decimal place, we can see that we need to round the first decimal place up. So x equals 18.4 centimeters. So the answer is 18.4 centimeters. Thank you for listening. Question 4b is a trigonometry question. Now question B states that an aircraft flies y kilometers in a straight line at an angle of elevation of 28 degrees. The gain in height is 7 kilometers. We can see that they have drawn a diagram for us. Now we need to work out the value of y. So the first thing we need to do is to label the sides of a triangle. Now this is a right angle triangle, so we can see that the longest side, y, is our hypotenuse. O, which is our opposite, is opposite the angle. And we can see the side, the base of the triangle, is going to be the adjacent. So we have the hypotenuse, the opposite, and the adjacent. So looking at the triangle, we can see that we've been given information about the hypotenuse, and we've also been given information about the opposite. So the hypotenuse is y, and the opposite is 7 kilometers. There is no information given to A, our adjacent. So using SOHCAHTOA, we can see that we have O and H. Now the one that uses O and H is SOH. So we know that sine theta equals the opposite over hypotenuse, where theta is our angle, which in this case is 28. Now we know which one we need to use, we need to substitute these values in. So we can say sine 28 equals our opposite, which is 7 over y, our hypotenuse. We now need to rearrange to make y the subject. So y equals 7 over sine 28. Once we have it in terms of y, we need to use our calculator to find the value. So when doing this calculation, we need to make sure it looks exactly as it does on paper. So press the fraction button, press 7, divided by sine 28. Remember to close the bracket, because equals when you're finished, and you can see that we get an answer of 14.91038.128. Make sure you write down everything on your calculator display. Now we've found the answer for y, you may be asked to round this. So if we round this to 2 decimal place, we need to look at the third decimal place, which in this case is 0, so we do not need to round this up. So the answer to 2 decimal places is y equals 14.9 1. And don't forget to put the units on, which in this case is kilometers. Thank you for listening.